to today's seminar, Solutions for the Renovation Wave, Public Procurement for 100% Renewable Energy System Renovations, as part of the Sustainable Energy Week Energy Days. It's great to be able to present our project to you. procuRE, with quite a long name, pre-commercial procurement of breakthrough solutions for 100% renewable energy supply in buildings. So we will have an interactive event today. So we will be using Mentimeter to have your opinions, and also if you have any questions during the event, please write them in the chat. So that we can answer them at the end of this seminar. Without further ado, I'll start. My name is Mehmet Bulut. I'm a senior researcher at Empirica, together with my colleague Nadia Koval from also Empirica, and our partner in the project, the technical expertise partner, URAC Research, and we have Federico Centin from URAC. So we will be the presenters today. procuRE consists of six cities, six public procurers, and in this project, Empirica provides the pre-commercial procurement expertise, and URAC provides the technical expertise. So this is how the agenda would be today. We start by an introduction, followed by an interactive discussion with the project partners, some of the project partners that we have here today. And then we will describe the common challenge of procuRE, followed by information on the joint procurement and our upcoming call for tender. And also we'll have questions from the audience. So what is procuRE? Our project is a project that aims to eliminate off-site supply in existing buildings and try to demonstrate that by bringing together 6 cities, Barcelona, Eilat, Istanbul, Nuremberg, Velenje, and Vilanova de Gaia, to procure innovative solutions to upgrade their buildings to operate on 100% renewable energy. So we have 6 procurers from 6 countries with very different climatic conditions, and they will be spending more than 7.6 million euros for external R&D services. The project, or this amount, would be spent in a 3-phase competition, where the suppliers will develop their renovation approach and then apply it in 3 schools and 3 offices in these 6 countries. What's important is that these 6 cities, they operate 21,000 buildings. So it's this project has the potential to not only impact these 6 buildings, but also to be implemented in the rest of the building stock and beyond. So why procuRE? Because we have several challenges on both macro level, which is the EU and member states level, but also at a micro level, which are cities, the procurers. And these are, as everybody knows, that the renovation rate and the replacement of the building stock in the EU currently is, or actually pretty much in a lot of countries, it's currently very low. And we also have quite a limited workforce, which creates barriers in terms of that you don't have enough skilled people, or enough people even, to actually conduct renovations. And there's also the issue that the renovations, they sometimes do not deliver enough financial or CO2 savings. There could be sub-optimizations, or basically they don't deliver what they promise. And there's also the risk of investors perceiving complex projects as risky, reaching for the low-hanging fruit. And the great complexity of combining several technologies is of course something quite challenging for the actors. And what how we solve this, what we do. So we have an active approach to building operation. That means the building and its systems will be optimized to use the most renewable energy. It could be, for example, the optimization of the loads, the heating system, the ventilation system, combined with batteries. So we do not focus on just one solution, but actually an orchestra of solutions that are working together. And there will be less work needed on site. Our focus is to upgrade the buildings quickly to 100% renewable energy whenever possible, and to do this with a one-stop shop approach. So there would be one solution that is provided, and it will be designed or co-designed with the procurers, which is usually not the case in a normal procurement where you make a tender and you create a tender and then it's accepted by the procurer, but the design phase sometimes is not done together. And here it's very important that we do this throughout the whole project. And also service contracting and financing to reduce the burdens and risks for the investors is very important. And how do we do this? So we use pre-commercial procurement funding. It is a special scheme from the EU that gives us the opportunity to actually fund technologies that are not mature yet, or that haven't yet been commercialized, but are near commercialization, and also set the expected outcomes, so that when we have the outcomes, we can use the PCP tool and push the technologies to meet the challenge. And in our project, it would be in such way that in November, we're going for a call for tender to receive proposals for a renovation approach. And this renovation approach would be somehow generic. It means that it could be applicable to schools and offices around Europe. And this is quite important because we want the solution to be replicable, not only for the procurers and their buildings, but also beyond, to actually be able to contribute to the renovation rate in the EU. And then it would lead to renovation packages specific to demonstration sites where they will be implemented and measured and followed up. So we will have an interactive discussion with the project partners as part of our event today. I'd like to introduce our project partners who are present here today. Alexander Nordhus from City of Nuremberg. He's an energy manager. Peter Pfeiffer, also from City of Nuremberg. He's also an energy manager. We have Turash Ashrafian from Özyeğin University supporting Istanbul Metropolitan Municipality. He's an assistant professor. And then we have Nico Natek, energy consultant and project manager from Xena. And Xena is our the main procurer, or Xena is responsible as being the suppliers in this project would be managed by Xena, which is representing the procurers, the buyers group in this project. So I'd like to welcome you all. Thank you for joining us today, our panel. And yes, so for interactive exchange, we have Mentimeter. I will encourage you to go to menti.com and enter 5253 2501 so that you can view the questions and answer the questions, and we can see them in real time. Or you can follow this link And if you would like to use it on your mobile phone, you can also scan the QR code, which will take you to a specific website where you answer the questions. So let's wait a few minutes for you to reach menti.com, and then we can start our discussion. Okay, let's switch to Menti so that we can see the results. Okay, so the first question is, what is your background? We're curious to know about your background so that we can see who's present here today. Excellent. So we have the public sector, the industry, research, and one other. Let's go to the next question. What challenges do you see that hinder energy renovations to reach 100% renewable energy in public buildings? So what challenges do you see? Are they, for example, financial, or could there be technological challenges? Is it related to immature technologies? So we're curious to know what you think are the challenges today that prevent us from reaching this. Too difficult, lack of solutions, no funding. No installers, technological, no products. Yes, we have quite a variety of challenges. So I'll ask Nico. Nico, so what do you think are the challenges today that hinder for us to achieve 100% renewable energy supply in public buildings when we renovate these buildings?
Yes, thank you, Mehmet. So hello to all, and thank you for your interest and participation in today's event. My name is Niko Natek from the Energy Agency of Savinska, Shaleshka, and Koroshka region. As Mehmet mentioned, we are the leader of the supply group and the lead partner of this project. I think the points raised by the participants in Menti show a lot of diversity, and I think they're all on point. However, from our experience working with the local communities in Slovenia and abroad, of course, the main challenges seem to be related in a way to the strong momentum of business as usual, if you know what I mean. Public authorities are used to implement investment projects in a way and scope that they are themselves familiar with. Everything that is beyond of what is well known is perceived in a context of high risk. And of course, when speaking about self-sufficiency of energy supply from renewables, the risks are factual. Less so from a technical point of view and more to do with implicit political risk in the case of poor performance or unplanned maintenance, for example. The other strong limiting factor, in my opinion, is that the market itself is very fragmented. And not only that public authorities are not aware of what actually exists and what is possible, there is no comprehensive service or platform on which it would be possible to carry out such energy renovations. Hence, this is why we are here today. With procuRE, we intend to bridge this gap and provide a model to be replicated on buildings across Europe and beyond. Yeah.
Thank you, Nico. Do you have anything to add to Raj, Alexander, Peter?
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Turaj Ashrafi. I'm from Hussein University. I think, as we can see also here from Menti, there are lots of different challenges that we need to cope with them in order to reach to 100% renewable energy supply in the buildings. So if I want to make a categorization of the challenges, so we can see almost five different category for the challenges: social challenges, legal challenges, the technical challenges, financial challenges, and also the market challenges. So under each of these category, we can see different challenges. For example, here, as we can see the governance plan, yeah, I think there is a problem here. We need to have a very well-defined and appropriate plan in the governance scale and in the governmental scale in order to reach to 100% renewable energy supply. And in the technological side, also we can see some obstacles like the lack of the proper storage system, especially in Istanbul, since we have a very dense building sector. It is very difficult to find huge spaces for the storage, especially for the thermal storage system. So we need to cope with all of these the problem and obstacles in order to replicate this system. And also we don't have a very well combined and uniform system in order to apply in large number of the buildings. So we need to focus on each of the buildings and then look at the market, find the proper solution there, and then apply it to our building. But we need to have one uniform solution to be applied for a large number of the building. In that case, we can provide different regulations, we can solve the legal challenges, and also financial challenges can be solved if we have one solution, one uniform solution. Yeah, that's all from me.
Yes, Alexander.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, in a part you have mentioned it, especially Nico. I would like to stress the fact that the administrations usually lack technical experience and technical understanding. That's usually it's administrational people that are dealing with these projects, maybe architects, but also those people are not technical experts, basically. So they are usually it's kind of externalized. We get external experts from outside into the projects, and they have to judge, for example, the risks for us. So it's as Nico said, it's a risk judgment, a matter of risk judgment, and everybody tries to avoid any risks. And because our people cannot judge technical risks, they just don't try to understand it because it's not possible for them. So it's a combination of those challenges that we have a fragmented market, that we have a lot of technical solutions available in the market, but not available in one comprehensive package. And this comprehensive package will have to be explained easy and with the outcome that there's no real risks, also no political risks. As Nico said, for example, we are buying now a technical solution, and we are taking the risks from we are in the energy management department. We are taking the risk of implementing this solution. at first. So we are kind of innovation managers as well. But this is not the common process in a public administration. So we need to implement this in the usual standard processes of the administrations to buy these comprehensive solutions without risk.
Excellent, thank you. So then we'll go to the next question, which is, what are the core technologies to upgrade buildings to operate on 100% renewable energy? Can it be solar? Can it be batteries, or innovative heating and cooling solutions? So what do you think are the core technologies that can help us achieve? I'm very curious about the results. We have a storage system, ventilation, solar, wind, daylight, PV, seasonal storage, cogeneration, hydrogen, efficiency. Okay. I guess now we can ask our panel. So what do you think are the core technologies to upgrade buildings to operate on 100% renewable energy? Oh, now we have also management solutions. Yes, do you have any comments?
Yes, I think first of all, it's important to make the existing buildings as efficient as possible using sensors and flexible operation schedules for heating and ventilation. And using efficient technologies in general is important. LED lighting or high efficiency circulation pumps for heating systems, ventilation systems that have heat recovery. And then, of course, we need to generate renewable energies. For example, with photovoltaic systems or solar thermal systems or whatever fits. And another important component is, of course, to store the generated energies.
Thank you, Peter. Are there any comments from the rest of the panel if they see any specific core technologies?
Yeah, maybe I could also chip in. So, of course, it depends very much on the location of the building itself. For example, someone mentioned wind turbines. In terms of on-site generation, this is, in my opinion, not practical for most buildings. In Slovenia, we also have the specific limitation of relatively poor wind potential. And I do know from experience that like a 10 kilowatt wind turbine, that would be, I guess, the appropriate size to address individual energy needs from a building. Well, these types of energy systems run from about to 2,500 euro to 4,000 euros per kilowatt hour installed. So they are pretty expensive, and in my opinion, probably not the best way to go. Generally speaking, I think the core technologies are those that have already been demonstrated and validated to perform well, at least in terms of energy production and reliability. So very specifically, this would include, of course, solar PV that has seen a dramatic price reduction in the past decade. So much so that most other types of solar energy production cannot really compete at present. The second one would, of course, be heat pumps, specifically in terms of their ability to extract useful energy from, for example, low temperature energy sources, such as low enthalpy geothermal or even the outside air. The other crucial technologies would definitely be related to advanced energy storage solutions. So in terms of their ability to address the intermittent nature of some renewable tech, here, of course, battery storage is one option that is most developed in terms of market penetration. Personally, I also see huge potential in technologies related to hydrogen and fuel cells. In terms of buildings, for example, I see a very great potential in cogeneration of heat and power setups. So these are just a few options from my point of view.
Okay, thank you, Nico. So then we will continue with another question, and for that I would need to switch to our presentation very shortly. Sorry for this interruption. Yes. And it will be a question to the panel. So what do you think is unique with procuRE, and how can it contribute to the renovation efforts of your city? So I'm really wondering what was most striking about this project that you really wanted to participate in this project. It would be great to hear from our panel.
I would say the most unique issue is that here the development of an all-in-one package solution is the thing to go after, because yeah, as I said, this is one of the, from my point of view, the most important challenge that we face in the public authorities. And we need an all-in-one package, maybe modularized, but basically as a standard to be able to judge any risk and most of all avoid risks and have a package that is proven to be effective.
Thank you, Alexander. Turaj.
Yeah. As I mentioned also in the first question, here in Istanbul, there are lots of different buildings, and it is very difficult to focus on each of them and find the best solution for that, for this building and for that building and so on. So what we are going to find, or what we are going to focus in in the procuRE project, is to find one uniform solution that be able to apply for a large number of the buildings. So it would be very easy and beneficial for a city like Istanbul to focus on that combined and uniform solution, and then replicate it to a large number of buildings rather than focusing on each of them. So it will also increase the renovation rate. It will increase I mean, it would be much more easy to find the solution, to find the financial solution, financial resources for that solution, because we know what we are going to do in that building or in those buildings. So yeah, I think it is the unique part of the procuRE project to find that and to present that solution to a city like Istanbul.
Thank you, Turaj. How about Nürnberg?
I think one aspect that's very interesting is that it's completely technology open. So it's not just a PV strategy, but it states the problems and it clearly identifies the existing problems and recognizes them. And then the approach that whoever has a good idea can just apply with it is really great, I think, because it doesn't limit you in any way, and it really allows the best idea to succeed.
Thank you, Peter. And yes, that's what's excellent about procuRE, is that we're technology neutral, and for upcoming call for tender, we're hoping that there will be a lot of innovative and various technologies that help us meet the challenge. So I'd like to thank our panel for their contribution today and for the interesting discussions. And we will, if you have any questions, please, from the audience, please write them in the chat, and our panel would answer them at the end of this presentation. Now we have Federico Tentin from URAC Research, who will describe the common challenge of procuRE. Federico, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Hi, good morning all, also from my side. Yeah, in the next minutes I will present a little bit in more detail what is the technical and some technical aspects of the procuRE project. Yeah, as already stated by Mehmet, one of the main objective of the project is not to develop a solution for a specific building, but instead to develop an approach, a renovation approach that guarantees the wide replicability of the solution developed on a large number of buildings. And yeah, one of the topic is the covering of energy demands, of building energy demands. And when I talk about building energy demands, I mean basically heating, cooling, and electricity consumption of the building through the on-site production, through the renewable energy on-site production. So the coverage of the 100% consumption through renewable energy produced on-site. And to prove this, basically we ask in the renovation approach to suppliers to demonstrate this number through modeling the various components interacting together and working together, and yeah, to prove that they are able to cover all or almost all the energy demands of the building. And another aspect that is really important is not related to the technical part, but also to the economic part, because you know, actually there are solutions that could guarantee that your buildings consume energy produced on site and that is renewable, but you have to install a lot of PV, you have to install an enormous battery, and it's not economically feasible. So we are thinking about a solution that guarantees the coverage of buildings energy used through renewable energy produced on site, and at the same time the solution is sustainable from an economic point of view, and we are also evaluating possible financial scheme and energy service contract. Another aspect already mentioned that is particularly important in this project regards the co-design procedure, so the interaction basically between different actors that works in the renovation. We have the procurers, we have the suppliers, and yeah, the fact that it is important that they work together in the developing the solutions. Then from the renovation approach, that is basically a piece of paper, a document that describes how we want to tackle the problem of the renovation of the energy of the building sector. We will extrapolate the renovation packages that will be applied on the various buildings. And again, the purpose of 100 renewable energy coverage remains, and also the particularly view on the economic aspect. And here, in addition, we added also aspects related to the interaction between who is going to use the building and the building and the system that will be installed. So the occupants and the professionals will be trained right to allow that the system will work as expected with the right performance. How should be the game? Basically, we have two main actors, two groups. On the left, we have the buyers group, basically procurers, that define the problems, define the challenges, and define also the award criteria. So basically how the proposals of the suppliers will be ranked. And on the right, we have the suppliers that instead will deliver the proposals to solve the problems identified by the buyers group. And until now, the buyers group already defined some areas, some topics that are actually, or better, for which there is the necessity to perform some R&D activities, because actually there are no solution ready on the market that are easy replicable. And here the 8 building blocks, the main areas are reported, and we have basically some topics related to the components to be used in the solution, components for the production and distribution of the energy, eventually the energy storage components and the energy management components. But you can have the best component on the markets, but if they have to work together and they are not think to work together, they will work very bad. And for this reason, we also ask a system package design. So to ensure that the various components interact in the right way, and also the system package monitoring and management. And this is all for the technical part. Instead, and in addition to that, we, as mentioned before, ask also about aspects related to the economic and financing, so the financing service and the possibility to sign energy contract, particularly that can help in the renovation process. Last but not least, it is important to stress also the fact that, as already said, who will use the system and who will use the buildings and how they behave is particularly important to ensure that the system will work correctly and as expected. And so the buyers group identified these 8 building blocks, so to say, or shortcoming blocks, and the proposal by the suppliers should be aligned and should address these building blocks. And again, the buyers group will set an expert group that will rank the various proposals based again on these building blocks. Yeah, here I reported only an example of one building blocks, only to give you an idea of what is included basically in the building block. We are talking in this case about system package design, and basically we want that the rationale, so why this building block is important and why is included, and which are the shortcomings actually present, and most important, which are the improvements that we expect considering the solution proposed by the supplier. Yeah, last slide from my side. I want to stress again the fact that, as already mentioned by Mehmet and by other colleagues, it is important that in this project we have a renovation approach, and then we have the development of the system package design, that is basically the translation in the real world of the system approach. And during the various phases, starting from the phase in which we ask for a schematic design, then when we go into more detailed design, and when we talk also into the installation and the operation of the system, we acquire experience, we improve the concept, we improve the system developed, and all this knowledge goes to improve also the renovation approach. And this is possible also because we have this co-design procedure in the design phase, and then also in the continuous commissioning there will be always interaction between suppliers and procurers. And at the end we will have a renovation approach that is valid, that can be applicable for basically any kind of non-residential building, that contain also all the improvements obtained during the entire project phases. And with this, I concluded my part, and I give the floor to the colleague from Empirica, Nadia Koval. So please, Nadia.
Yeah, thank you, Federico. I will now take the control, and in this part, I would like to explain the procurement process. So basically how the suppliers get chosen and how the project is run. So the PCP, so as procuRE is a PCP project, it is crucial to understand what PCP is. And the pre-commercial procurement is used when there are no near to the market solutions yet, and there is a lot of R&D effort is needed. And it is basically the R&D contract service, which means a high degree of innovation. And in our context, we do not see a single technology to make a big jump, to make a real change, but the entire integration of different technologies of everything. So the suppliers will have to invest in R&D here. And suppliers also develop prototypes, which we understand to be both the renovation approach as well as the application into the innovation packages. And then ultimately, we understand them as the deployment in the pilot sites. It is also competitive. Basically, it is an innovation pipe. So it means that at the beginning, there are more suppliers, and then fewer and fewer suppliers who get further on in the project. I will talk about this in more detail in the next slide. And this is only possible because we are in a special legal framework contract. Basically, so this is like the balance between the this is the balance where we fund the R&D service, R&D effort, whilst permitting the suppliers to do business. So before it was like these two things were separate, but now in this case it is not. So you can take the R&D effort and you are supported by us, and you are also allowed to create business from it. And here I would like to pay your attention in the phases we have in the project. So we are now coming to the call for tender phase, which is part of the phase 0. When we were looking at the market, we were looking who there is, what is the supply there. And we were also refining the challenge brief, and yet the tender documents are pretty much final. We expect to launch the tender preliminary in the mid-November. So the suppliers will basically have 3 months time to respond, and the other 2 months will be used for the evaluation and information given to suppliers. So you'll have time to set up and start the phase 1, in which the 6 contractors will be chosen. So they will develop the first designs for their buildings and the renovation packages. And this phase aims to verify the conceptual, technological, and financial feasibility of the solution. So basically from all the sides of the solution. And the phase lasts 3 months, 2 months of effective work and 1 month for reporting. And in phase 2, there are less suppliers left, but there is more money. Only 4 contractors will make it to the phase 2, which is about getting the prototypes, which they developed during the phase 1. further to the near final solution. So it means that the suppliers will tweak their solutions further. They will increase the detailed plan of the solutions, and they will also organize the test of all the user-facing ICT systems. And in the end of this phase, the design level of the solution should be very detailed and does not have to require to constitute further drawings or construction drawings. In phase 3, there are only 2 contractors deploy the solutions on site. So there will be 3 demonstration sites which we allocate to suppliers. So we divide basically 6 cities to 2 suppliers, which will make it to the end. And in this stage, suppliers install the solutions, they make them operational and maintained. They also will have to collect the data for at least 12 months so that they prove that the solutions really work. And in the end, you can make also an offer to the procurers to operate the building beyond the project, because the project has its time frame. It will end in a certain point of time, but after the project, you will also be able to maintain the building. Yeah, so we expect the mid-November to be the time when we launch the tender after the EC reviews the tender documents. And first of all, it is important to understand that the PCP is a grant project, it is a research project. So the relationship between the relationship with you as a supplier is a direct contract, which means that you give financial offers up to the ceiling for each phase. And the offer includes all the costs. And then if you perform according to what was expected of you, what you have described, then the suppliers will be paid with the price. And there's also not much reporting in terms how you have done the work or whatever. So there is just an invoice at the end of the phase, plus the necessary documentation of the work done. And depending on the progress of the work of the project, of your offer, it is either over for the supplier, or you will hand in the offer and go on to the next phase. And as for the requirements of the tender procedure, they typically see eligibility criteria apply. However, there are more tiny tweaks in that 50% of the project activities has to take place in the EU associated countries. And everything will be in English as soon as the tender starts, and there will be an electronic submission. And in September, we have organized the matchmaking event where we try to provide potential suppliers with a platform where they could reinforce, where they can meet, build the consortia, find the people with whom they would like to apply to cover all the tender challenges. And further, after the tender is released, we are planning to do more events on the procedure and how to apply, and probably more about the criteria. So basically, what do you need to provide as part of the offer? There is the administrative section, obviously the declaration of honor and the power of attorney if you are a consortium, and the financial section with the binding price for the phase 1 and non-binding, first initial non-binding prices for phases 2 and 3. There's also the technical section, which is obviously the most challenging for you. So as Federico said, we will do our best to make it easy to you to understand what we think the problem is, because the procurers have been thinking over the challenge or the problem quite a lot. So we want the suppliers to respond well to the tender. And yeah, your technical offer will basically describe your methodology, and probably a major part of it will be the renovation approach, which will be carried on in the coming phases. In the call-offs for phase 2 and 3, you will update your initial offer with the lessons learned during the phases so that you basically tweak your initial offer further. And it is also very good for you to be a part of the project, because we'll do our best to help you get noted as an innovation supplier on the EU level. Also in the summary sheet where we'll present to the European Commission the potential suppliers, we'll put your logo, we'll put your name of the organization, and we'll be sure that you will be noted also. And there is also an upcoming event for the Smart Cities Marketplace Forum on November 10th. We are encouraging you to also come to this event and learn more about the tender. There is also a very good tool for the potential suppliers. It is the matchmaking platform, basically the most important one, because the matchmaking form gives you a chance to find partners, to reinforce your team for more innovative solutions and make you visible for other suppliers. So you will complete the form. It just takes 5 minutes, and you will be then visible on the matchmaking platform. And currently we're having around 40 suppliers already, and you can filter on the platform by like what they're offering, what they're looking for. Probably if you're looking for a coordinator, you can tick the box coordinator and you will find all the suppliers who are ready to become the coordinator in your potential consortium. And another thing is the preferred partner tool. There are basically a lot of demand for the innovative solutions, and a lot of cities also struggle with their building stock, with renovating their building stock. And this challenge is not only limited to our 6 procuREs, it's also relevant for everybody, basically. And so we encourage people, municipalities, different cities, probably owners of buildings, to become preferred partners. It is free of charge, and we'll basically interact with you. We will give you the most important insights of the potential solutions, and you as a potential preferred partner will give us feedback on the solutions from your point of view as a demand side. And currently we're having 5 cities there, and we are striving to get more, and we hope there will be more people with us. Yeah, and just we encourage you to visit our website, where you will find the latest information on the tender, when it's been released. All the supporting documents, all the additional documents will be there. And also we are having the events, the news and events tab, where you can also see the upcoming events and also join to us and probably ask the questions. And also, if you want to get contacted to us directly, you can use this email address. We will be happy to answer all your questions regarding the tender procedure and everything. Yeah. Mehmet?
Thank you, Nadia. I was wondering if you have any questions. Do we have any questions from the audience to our panel or to us, the presenters? Please feel free to ask. You can also visit our website or our social media channels, where you can also ask us your questions.
I just put the link to the matchmaking platform in the chat.
Thank you, Nadia. I believe we don't have any questions. Yes, and also the request for tender. Thank you, Nadia, for posting in the chat. All right, then I guess we can say we've reached the end of our event. I'd like to thank you, the presenters and our panel, for your participation and for this interesting day. It was really interesting to know how our procurers think of the challenges and the solutions, and how they define procuRE. So thank you, and we hope to see you on another event, in a future event. And if you have any questions, please contact us through email and visit our website. We wish you a good day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.